You're listening to Just Hit Play with your hosts, Peter and Nick Cabral. If you're tired of your stagnant, streamed music feed, then strap yourselves in for an intergenerational sonic journey through Peter and Nick's favorite songs.
Welcome to episode 196 of Just Hit Play. I'm your host, Peter, and with me is my co-host, Nick. Nick, how are you?
I'm doing very well. Very, very well. Today marks the start of my basically 5.5 days off work, so I'm very happy.
And do you have much planned for your 5.5 days off work?
Not a ton. Gonna go to a DJ set tomorrow evening, and then I'm seeing Project Hail Mary on Monday, the new Ryan Gosling space movie. Yeah. Other than that, just a lot of errands and chilling.
It's funny you say that because I do want to see that movie. I just finished reading the book.
Me too.
Oh, good.
It just finished a couple days ago.
Yeah, me too.
How fantastic is that book?
Now, did you read it or did you listen to it?
Both. I would switch back and forth depending on what I was doing.
Interesting. Okay. Yeah, I just listened to it. It was a great book.
Fantastic. I really enjoyed it. I flew through it.
Yeah. No, I can't wait. So I don't know if I'll see it next week because I'm away all of next week, but hopefully I'll be able to see it soon. Did
you know that in the movie Rocky is like a puppet? They're doing
I just saw that this morning. I saw an interview with him this morning, and it's a practical puppet. Yeah,
very cool.
Yeah, really love the book. So if you haven't read the book Project Hail Mary, please do so. It is a great read or a listen, depending on your poison of choice. But yeah, really good.
I don't want to say too much, but did you tear up at the end? Because I did.
I didn't actually.
Oh man,
no, I didn't. Me. I think I don't tear up in books. Movies, yes, but not in books. Strangely, and I love books. Yeah. That is something we've bonded over since we were a kid. And your dad's the same way. We just love to read books. I can't think of many emotional times I've had over a book.
I took a very big hiatus from reading, to be honest. Where I used to be a voracious reader as a kid and a preteen, and then that kind of fell by the wayside once I got to high school and university. But I just recently, for my trip to Mexico, got myself an e-reader. I got a Kobo, and that has completely reignited the flame for me. I am reading nonstop at work, at home. I'm loving it.
It's funny, when years ago when the Kindle first came out, I bought a Kindle, and I remember I went into there used to be a cafe bookstore here, and I went into this bookstore that had a cafe in it. I'm in Brisbane, by the way, Nick's in Toronto, Canada. And I just brought up my Kindle and I started reading this book in this cafe. That's the way I looked at it. And this patron came up to me and she goes, "I never thought I would see the day where someone was reading an electronic book in a bookstore."
Wow.
And I thought about it. I was like, well, I am in a coffee part of the bookstore. So I am still giving them money.
To get the hell out.
So I did still, and I was like, oh yeah, I'm just, I love my Kindle, and I haven't touched my Kindle in a long time, because then I moved on to audiobooks because I travel so much and I'm always editing on the computer or I'm driving. I just listen to a lot more books. And you know what, I think I might have talked about this before, but my eyesight started getting bad, and that was probably a self-conscious thing where I was having trouble reading books, and so I just stopped reading and just started listening instead. But subsequently, I've gotten glasses, so now I am finding I am reading more, like books, going back to books now. So.
Yeah, I love my Kobo. It's I had one years and years ago, probably one of the first Kobo models, and wow, have they ever come such a long way?
Right.
The fact that I can put it in the pocket of my scrubs and take it to the ICU on a night shift with me to read when things are quiet, there's not much to do. I just love that.
The only visceral experience I've ever had reading a book is I remember years ago reading Dostoevsky's The Idiot. I don't know if you ever read any Dostoevsky.
No, I haven't.
I love a good Russian novel. And while I was reading The Idiot, I remember getting so angry while I was reading the book, and I slammed the book down and I was like, "You idiot." I was like, "Oh, I get it."
Yeah. That's funny.
Yeah, so that was probably the most visceral reaction I've ever had to reading a book. So yeah, good book, The Idiot, if you ever get a chance.
Okay. Yeah, I'm currently reading Dungeon Crawler Carl, the series. So maybe eventually I'll get to Dostoevsky.
I started reading War and Peace. I'm struggling.
Yeah, good for you.
I'm
I don't think
struggling.
I'll ever attempt it.
Yeah, it's a long book and there's a lot of characters. And Russian, I don't know if you like reading Russian books. A lot of Russian names are really hard to pronounce because depending on if they're male or female, you pronounce the name differently. If you pronounce the male version of the name or you pronounce the female version of the name, so it just sounds like there's more characters in a scene than there should be.
Yeah,
So yeah,
sounds terrible.
I'm having a bit of a hard time with War and Peace, but let's see if I get back into it.
Let's see.
Yeah.
Anyway, shall we put the books
Yes.
and Project Hail Mary aside?
Let's do it. So you're going first this week, so tell us about your artist.
All right. This week, I got you to listen to Look Out For Me by TURNSTILE. TURNSTILE is a lovely, lovely hardcore band, but with a lot of twists. So, Darren, why don't you just hit play on TURNSTILE? Right, so Look Out For Me, TURNSTILE. What do you think?
This is an interesting song. I don't know if I love it, but I do like it a lot. I love the driving bass line. I love the guitars. I think where I'd love this song is if I got to see it live. I think live it would be out of this world. Does that make sense?
Absolutely. I would love to see this song live.
Yeah.
I would really love it. Yeah.
Like, you know, when the song builds up and the chorus drops, I could just imagine how mosh that mosh pit must get. And it would just be, there'd be so much energy in that pit. That would be a lot of, not that I would be part of it in my late 30s, but it would be fun to just to see that energy in that mosh pit go.
Yeah, I think that would be fantastic. Like, I've seen some footage from TURNSTILE shows, and they are insane, like ridiculous. The energy that they have and that the crowd brings too. Yeah, it's crazy.
Now, I had a question for you before you start. Where's this band? Yeah. Where's this band from? Because I watched the video, and there's a scene in the video it mentions something America, but they don't feel American to me. Where are they from?
They are from Baltimore.
Okay. The only reason I say that is because in one of the scenes in the video in the park, it looks like there's a jacaranda tree, where jacaranda trees are famous, like purple trees that are famous in Queensland or famous in Australia. So I was like, are they an Australian band? I guess that's where I was just picking up on that from the tree. But please go on.
Their last tour, or the tour that they did for this album, Never Enough, Emil and the Sniffers opened for them a lot.
Okay.
So maybe that's the Australian connection there.
Could be.
They're very, very, very good friends with Emil and the Sniffers.
Okay, that makes sense. Okay, perfect. Yeah. Please continue with the explanation.
So, TURNSTILE, Baltimore band, formed in 2010, and honestly, their career never really took off for the first 10 years. They were just sort of like, they had some reasonable success. They were touring internationally. But it wasn't until they kind of reimagined themselves as this more genre-fluid band, less constrained by the idea of being a hardcore punk band.
Yeah.
With their last album, before Never Enough, Glow On, that's where their career really took off, and they just blasted the doors wide open on their own career. And fast forward to last year, 2025, they put out this Never Enough record, and it won Best Rock Album at the Grammys this year.
Right.
So they've done very, very well for themselves, and I think I picked this song not because it's a lead single or the catchiest or most straightforward song on the album, but just because I think it shows their range the best. Yeah. That's what I wanted you to get a sense of, is the absolute range this band has.
And at 7 minutes and 11 seconds, that's pretty unheard of for a modern rock song to go that long. But there are a lot of twists and turn in the song where you can sort of make sense for this song to be that long. So 7 minutes and 11 seconds didn't feel like a very long song to me. No,
this I always find every time I listen to the song, it flies by.
Yeah.
Those 7 minutes pass by super quickly, and I think it's because there's so many distinct little sections where they're doing something different and new. So it's always catching your ear on something new. They don't linger too long on this one.
You know, I wouldn't be surprised, because in the studio version of this song, I was expecting it to really go out with a bang. Because there is a melodic period near the end of the track. I was expecting it to just drop again and hit really, really hard, and it doesn't. It sort of fades out. But I would not be surprised live if they sort of turn that on its head and they give the crowd one last huge beat drop, and it just goes out with like nothing. And so I wouldn't be surprised live if they change that up.
Yeah, again, that just goes back to how amazing would it be to see these guys live.
Yeah.
Like they I think just they've got it figured out.
Yeah.
And I know I've seen the footage. Their live shows are so fun, and I regret that I was late to this band. I was late to this tour. I wasn't listening to this album until the tour had already finished, so I was late, but I'm going to try my best to catch them next time. Especially because they always have great openers. Like I said, they had Amyl and the Sniffers opening for them. They had Jane Remover opening for them on this tour. Cool. Yeah. So really, really good taste in music these guys have, at least if they're the ones picking their openers.
You know, and maybe the other reason I thought they were Australian, because obviously we're going to do Who Played It Better later, and the recording that you had me listen to is from Triple J, who like a version. So maybe that's the connection to you. I thought, okay, then maybe they are Australian. But okay, cool. That makes more sense. They're from Baltimore.
Well, I think they've tried really hard to cultivate an Australian fan base because, as we've touched on in recent weeks, Australia it's a little bit of a vanguard for rock music right now in the world. So I think they've tried very hard to cultivate that fan base.
You know, it is nice to see that there are still bands like this out there where there's a hard drive and a rock song, because it's so difficult, because so much music has been played that it's so hard to sound original because of that. And the band that we're going to get you to listen to next week, and I'm not going to tell you what it is just yet, I think fall under that category of trying to sound original.
Okay. I like originality.
In today's very chaotic, you know, there's been 50 years of rock and roll, so I think it's so hard to sound original. But yeah, Turnstile do a pretty good job of sounding like, you know, very unique to themselves.
I think for me, what makes them sound so unique is, yes, they have roots in hardcore. I've gone back and listened to their earlier stuff, and it is very hardcore punk music.
Yeah.
Like very, very much so. And then compare it to this, Never Enough. They just have leaned so much harder into the melodic side of the sound, and I think that's where you get the originality. Is in hardcore music you don't often get that
very good point.
Strong of a melodic element to it. You know, it's just they just go so loud and so noisy and frenetic. But here, these guys Turnstile, they really care about the melodies, and I think that's why they're so popular right now. It worked for them. It's why they've broken out, and they're winning Grammys now. Yeah,
there you go. It's hard to win a rock Grammy when you're a hardcore band. Typically, you don't win Grammys for that. It's more like the Coldplays, the U2s, that kind of sound win Grammy. So it's nice to see a hardcore band win something like that.
Absolutely, yeah. Well, I'm glad you liked the song. Turnstile is very good. Hopefully, you come across some more of their music. I think you'll really like a lot of the stuff they do.
Cool. And we're going to revisit them in a little bit in Who Played It Better. So we're not exactly done with the band just yet, but we'll talk about them in a few more minutes. All right. I got you to listen to the Hives, Hate to Say I Told You So, which I said to you was the best song you had never heard. So this was out in 2002 during the Rock Garage revival. They were, around the same time as the White Stripes, the Killers, the Bravery, who we listened to last week, the Strokes. It was all around that scene. This is when this music came out. So Darren, just hit play on Hate to Say I Told You So by the Hives. right. Was this the greatest song you had never heard?
It was okay.
Okay.
Yeah, I liked the track from last week, the Bravery track. I think I like that a lot better than this.
Yeah.
But this was a very, very nice, fun garage rock track.
Yeah.
Like it. I think I've just heard so much of this sound. Like the Bravery, at least, I think had the synths to really set them apart.
Yep.
The Hives, it's good, but I don't know. It was missing like some real X factor for me to set itself apart and take it to like the I love it tier. You know what I mean?
Nice, yeah. I love the guitar. The way that guitar sounds at the beginning, I just dig that song for just that guitar sound. I love that guitar sound, and it's so Hives. That's exactly what the Hives sound like. When you hear the guitar for the Hives, you know it's a Hives song. So yeah, I love that sound.
So the Hives, they were around the same time as all these other like garage rock bands and stuff, right?
Kind of. They're Swedish, so it took me a little bit longer to make it over here. So they got together in 1993 is when the band formed, and they had some success in Sweden through the 90s. But it wasn't until 2002 when their music started getting played in more of a worldwide international way. So it wasn't until... So this album was released in 2000, but it didn't come across the rest of the world until 2002.
Wow, okay.
Yeah.
Very interesting.
Yeah.
So they were just like a regional band until then.
Until then, and again, it was that rock revival. It was the Killers, it was the Bravery, it was the Strokes, it was the the White Stripes. All these bands that were coming out that they just slotted into that section so perfectly, and they just fit that mold. It's really incredible when you have these bands from all over the world and all over America and Sweden that have a sound coming out at the same time, and they just coalesce at the same time. It's kind of freaky when that happens, but it does happen every once in a while.
Yeah, it really does, and sometimes you get brilliant results.
Yeah. So if you join the Hives, they've had one band member leave, but when you join the Hives, you have to assume a nickname or have a pseudonym. So the singer's name is Howling Pelle Elmqvist. That's the singer's name. Okay. The lead guitarist is Nicholas Arson.
Nice.
The rhythm guitarist is Vigilante Karlstrom.
Ooh, I like that.
The bass player is Dr. Matt Destruction.
Oh.
And the drummer is Chris Dangerous.
Okay, Chris Dangerous.
Yes. Now
that's fun. I like that.
Yeah. In 2013, Dr. Matt Destruction left the band for health reasons, and he was replaced by the bass player, the one and only. Or I should say it's Swedish, so the Johan and only.
The Johan and only. Nice.
Yeah.
Nice. Okay, that's a good bit. I like that.
Yeah.
I respect them for that.
And the other thing they're known for is all dressing in very monochrome colors. They're usually wearing tuxedos or very neat suits, usually black, usually white. So they are known for their look as well.
See, I appreciate when bands do that. They have a consistent look for their live shows. That just kind of adds to the mystique and the aura, the aesthetic. I think more bands need to play into that a little bit. It's such an important part, I think, of live shows.
And this is where sort of because they're Swedish and they don't understand some English words, so that they came up with the name the Hives because the drummer Dangerous suggested the name Hives because he read it was a word for a skin disease. And they understood the condition. They thought it was a description of a deadly disease. So they thought it was way more lethal for one. They thought it was much more contagious. And they figured they were going to spread around the world like a deadly disease. But maybe not.
Instead, they're just named after a minor annoyance.
Yeah. So that goes to show you sometimes the English translation and Swedish translation don't mix all that well.
No. But it's impressive for these guys do sound very good, and I don't want to say for being a Swedish band. Like I don't want to be dismissive of Swedish music because they've given us so many fantastic artists and bands in their own right. Well, it's a beautiful country musically.
I think the last time we listened to a Swedish song, it was the Rednecks with that song, which I listed as one of the worst songs of all time.
Yeah,
Cotton Eye Joe.
Well, Viagra Boys is Swedish as well.
Oh, that's true. They're Swedish too. Yes, there you go. So this song in Kerrang magazine, it was awarded for best single of 2002. In March 2005, Q magazine placed it on number 54 on the list of the 100 greatest guitar tracks of all time. Pitchfork put it at 244 of the top 500 songs of the decade of the 2000s. And in October, NME placed it at number 84 in the 150 best tracks in the past 15 years.
Oh, nice.
So yeah. And they're still around.
I wish I heard this song before the sound like oversaturated my brain. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So that it would be in my head like more of the original, the originator of a lot of the sounds and bands and songs that I love. Whereas now hearing it so much later, I'm going in reverse, and that's always a shame.
Yeah, and again, this was the garage rock sound of the early 2000s. It's funny how you go through these little blips where there was the grunge between 1993 and 1991 and 1993, 94. And then you had like sort of the Spice Girls come out in about 1995, and you had that music. And then you had the DJ music like Chemical Brothers, Moby, Fatboy Slim. You had that in like 97. It's weird how these things just happen in 1 or 2 years. And it can define those 1 or 2 years, but it sort of goes away after that.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's really, really interesting on how that works. And from 2002 to 2004, there was just this huge garage rock revival.
Yeah, and I love it. Like, as I've said last week, so many bands I love came out of that era. That sort of springwell of music. Like, I loved it. So yeah, I'm really happy that movement happened. I don't know what my music taste would look like without it.
Oh, okay, yeah, I get you. Yeah, it's quite interesting, isn't it? It's this is what I love about music. It's when you hit upon this little vein, a little stream, you get some amazing music.
Yeah, you really do.
Yeah.
Well, I'm definitely going to listen to some more of the Hives. What's their best album, in your opinion?
So this album is probably this one. Veni Vidi Vicious is the name of this album.
All right. I will listen to it because, I definitely see the potential these guys have.
Yeah.
And I know I'm going to like them. So, I'll just listen to the whole album. I'll report back.
Yeah, if you ever go on YouTube and you do, look up the Hives, there's going to be some amazing songs you're going to look for.
Yeah, I'll report back. Don't worry. I'll do some homework.
All right. What artist do you have for me for next week?
Next week, we are going to revisit an artist that we've done before.
Yep.
We're going to listen to Mitski and her new song, Where's My Phone?
Where's My Phone?
Yep.
Okay.
That's what we're listening to. Where's My Phone? Mitski. It's a heater. I'll just say that.
Cool. I was not planning on you listening to this band next week.
Oh.
I was doom scrolling, if you will, and I came across this band. They're a brand new band, and I don't know if I like them.
Okay.
I have not decided yet, so we're going to figure that out next week. You're going to listen to Engine du Poitvin.
All right.
Do you know the band? They're from Quebec in Canada.
Oh, Quebecois. Let's do it.
Yeah. Okay. You have to watch the video because, there's something.
All right. I'm excited.
We're going to listen to a song called Fab Yank. I might be saying this right. I might be saying it wrong, but that's the song we're going to listen to. So
wonderful.
I don't know if I like them. So we're going to figure that out.
We'll do it together. We'll figure it out together.
Yeah.
Are these guys any good?
Yes. All right. So we're going to do Who Played It Better this week. So we're going to talk about the Stone Roses' I Want to Be Adored and this Turnstile cover of I Want to Be Adored. So first off, let's listen to the original. Let's listen to a few seconds of the original. I Want to Be Adored by the Stone Roses. Darren, just hit play. All right, classic Stone Roses song, one of my favorite Stone Roses song, and then you got me to listen to the Turnstile cover of the Stone Roses, which was covered on Triple J, like a version. So let's listen to Turnstile. I Want to Be Adored. Okay. Let's do my thoughts first because I've known this song since 1990 or 1991. It is one of my favorite songs that I've ever heard.
Yep.
This song came out of nowhere and I became a Stone Roses fan instantly. And it was just awash with color and just beautiful, and it was just dripping with like atmosphere. And I've loved this song since then, and they're huge Manchester United fans. I'm a huge Manchester United fan. Did you know that Manchester United have a kit? They have a Stone Roses kit that you can buy?
Yes, I've seen that actually.
Yeah. So I love the original. The Turnstile version is it's a really classic version. They do a really, really good job, and it's true to the original. The drums, the bass line, the guitar work is really shimmery. It's dreamlike, and I think for me, on the cover version, the drums are the best part of the song. I really love really love the drums. I love what he does with the song. All right, what's your take?
Yeah, so I Want to Be Adored by the Stone Roses is probably my most played song of the last 12 months. Okay. If I had to guess, I'm addicted to it. I really can't quit this song. It's just so amazing. Truly. I love it so much. And so I was really excited when I saw that Turnstile did a cover, because I knew Turnstile's a great band and I figured they wouldn't mess it up. And I'm happy to report I don't think they messed it up.
No,
I think they covered.
They did.
They covered a classic song, and sure, maybe they played it a little safe, maybe a little too safe. I wouldn't have minded if they went a little crazier at some points, but they played it safe. They didn't ruin a classic song, and if anything, they did a good job. I liked some of the vocal inflections that the lead singer put on. I think he had a little bit of fun with it at times. So yeah, it's a great cover. I think for a song as iconic and classic as this, it's about the best you can ask for in a cover.
Yeah, it's a daring cover. I'll give them that, because usually when bands do like a version, they're choosing, I'm not saying they're choosing safe songs, but they're choosing songs that aren't classics like this, where it's so hard to divorce it from the Stone Roses. I think when Metric was on, they did a Willie Nelson song, which is really, not, Metric are going to do a Willie Nelson song completely different than Willie Nelson.
Yes.
That's usually the genre people go in. They record songs that are either not very well known or in a different genre or different
right, where you expect it to sound different.
Exactly.
Like you click on the video knowing this is going to be a genre bent version of this song. Like it's going to be different. Exactly. Whereas this, a rock band doing Stone Roses, you never know.
Right. And like I said, I think they did an admirable cover of it. It's a very good song. But for me, I think the Stone Roses song is one of the greatest rock songs ever recorded. I'm going to go with the Stone Roses.
Me too. Yeah, for sure. I go with Stone Roses here. But the Turnstile one was very nice. And I think just shows their capabilities as a band, that they did a pretty good job of this song.
Now, how many other because we got you to listen to a Stone Roses song way back in, I think, second season. And I remember you didn't like it, but you listened to the remix version of it. What are your thoughts on the Stone Roses since then?
Well, I listened to. I can't
remember what song we listened to.
Yeah, I listened to their full album, their self-titled album. I've listened to that in full, and I think it's great. I think it's really, really fantastic. I think it's a little front-loaded. Like, I Want to Be Adored and She Bangs the Drums, back to back is kind of. I think that's really where the album peaks, but it's still great music all the way through. So yeah. I'm a huge, huge fan of their self-titled album, and I haven't listened to anything else by them.
Okay. Put it on the back burner, because I'm going to get you to listen to a song from their second album. in a bit.
Okay. Cool.
So
cool.
don't listen to the second. Well, they only have 2 albums. So
Oh, wow.
yeah, for a band as adored, no pun intended from I Want to Be Adored, as the Stone Roses, they really only have 2 records. So strangely enough, for whatever reason. Yeah.
So why does it sound like he's saying he wants to be a door?
Yeah.
Why is it a silent D at the end of adored?
Yeah, you gotta love
He
that.
really does sound like he really sounds like he's saying he wants to be a door.
Yeah, I love the Mancunian accent.
Yeah.
One of the best live versions for the Stone Roses, they played a live concert at the City Grounds, and the drummer wore a Manchester United kit on stage, which I always thought was pretty funny.
So SD Kid, the Scouse rapper Wonder Kid that we featured recently, he's on record as saying that "I Want to Be Adored" by the Stone Roses is his favorite song of all time.
Yeah,
which is strange. It's Scouser Mancunian harmony right there.
Yeah, it is. It's one of those songs that it'll live forever in my memory as just a song that literally came out of nowhere. I'd never heard the Stone Roses, and then this song came up, and with the lush guitar and the sonic guitar, and just wash over you, and the weird lyrics, and yeah, beautiful song.
Beautiful song. Yep.
Yeah. All right. What are your plans for the rest of the week? Well, we did talk about it. You got 5.5 days. So can I ask you a question? Where does the half day come from?
So technically I'm doing the half day right now because I worked it last night. And so I woke up at 3:00, right? So I count that as a half day.
Sure. Okay. Yeah. Perfect. Okay. Yeah. Yeah. I can't wait to see that movie. So yeah, maybe we'll do a movie review next episode. Yeah.
Yeah. I am very excited. I think it's going to be fantastic.
Next week, I leave Sunday. So I'm a professional photographer here in Australia, and I leave Sunday to do a job, which is about a couple hours away. I have to be there for Monday morning, so I'm leaving here Sunday. Then I come back Thursday, and then I leave Sunday again to go to the Outback for one day. I'm doing a 10-hour drive to the Outback for literally one job, then I turn around and I come right back home.
Wow.
But I will say this. Currently, there's a Category 5 cyclone in northern Queensland. And this town that I'm supposed to be going to, it's Emerald in central Queensland. It was flooded out a couple weeks ago. It was just a flood. Like the town pretty much disappeared. So depending on how much rain they get over the next couple of days will determine whether I'm going there or not. So I might not be going to the Outback.
Okay. Well, I hope all ends up well with that then.
Yeah. My boss tried to go there last week and he literally got marooned. He couldn't get there and he just had to stay in this little town as the waters just rose around him and he just couldn't drive back. He couldn't drive forward. So he just had to stay in this little town. So
oh my God.
You gotta love Queensland in the monsoon season.
Yeah. Wow.
Yeah.
Gotta love it.
Yeah. They're saying that this Category 5 is like the biggest storm they've had since like the 70s.
Jeez.
But it's like really far up north. So like Cairns is quite far up north. It's like even further north than Cairns. So Cairns will get a lot of rain, but it's going to hit more in areas of Queensland that not a lot of people live. There are little towns here and there, but it's not going to hit a big city center. So these little towns, I think they're all being evacuated from these little towns.
Wow.
Yeah.
Well, yeah. Hopefully everyone stays safe.
Yeah. All right, let's talk about our independent artist this week, and it's a new artist called ChellyX. So they're a Brisbane alt indie artist, and she's a former Vogue featured model, releasing her debut single "Bleed Me Empty," featuring PRAX, and mixed by Trey Tui. I hope I'm pronouncing those names correctly. This stripped-back acoustic duet layers intimate vocals with rich guitars, capturing vulnerability, emotional burnout, and the cost of giving too much of yourself. So, brand new artist. Bleed Me Empty. Thank you very much, ChellyX, for letting us play your song. And Nick, hopefully we'll talk to you next week.
You got it.
Would you bleed me dry? You never seem to think twice. You always put up a fight.
You've been listening to Just Hit Play. To contact your hosts, Peter and Nick, or to be featured on an episode as musical talent, email justhitplay7300@gmail.com. Keep up to date with news and announcements by following on Instagram and Facebook, linked in the show notes. Subscribe on your favourite podcatcher to tune in next week for more sonic delights. And if you can't wait till then, check out the Just Hit playlist on Spotify, linked in the show notes. A special thanks to Braden Munch for the theme song, and thank you for listening.